Right, morning everyone. It's a work day, so it's a boring work commute, I'm afraid. But it's also my first ride on the new Fort Seals with a slightly heavier weight. Slightly heavier weight oil. So we'll see how we go. Ooh. Hot and sweaty already. And all I've done is taken the drop the kids off the pool. No, take the kids to school. And a bit of a wander with a dog before it gets too redders. And you can't really walk a dog when it's hot. Oh. Yeah, I had I've had some early suggestions in on Phoenix, on the Aprilia Shiver. So far my plan seems... Oh, I can feel the difference actually. What are you doing? Yeah, I had some early feedback. My plan seems like a plan. Yeah, it's kind of your fault for fucking speeding along there, big fella. What's I saying? Yeah, the plan seems valid. The bit that people have come up with, because all this arsing around with the ECU is arsing around with the ECU. There are some... If it's not that, and I don't think it is, I don't think that swapping back to the other ECU is going to cure it. Oh, I don't know, it might do. What am I saying? If it cures it, then it is mapping on that ECU. It's a question of whether or not I need to do anything about that, whether or not I will do anything about that, etc, etc. What seems to be a popular option now is valves and valve clearances, which, you know, seems to also, fuck's sake, kind of, mate, if you want to whip round, you can whip round, I'm not going to, on your fucking scooter. That's a dick move. That's the sort of thing that hurts. I'm constantly amazed, sorry, I'm going off track here, but I'm constantly amazed at some of the stupid shit that people on bikes do. That perfect example there of the dude, and I've seen it around, and I've checked out what it is. I quite like the bike actually. I can't remember what it is, I'll have a look. But scooting around traffic, yep, fine, we all do that, and I do that quite a lot. Generally not on the way into work, because I'm not in that much rush to get to work. But yeah, that's fine. But then you know, overtake it as well. It's always good to insult somebody's riding while I'm doing something daft as well, but no, you know, there are levels of daftness, and that one particularly of overtaking on a right hand bend, then turning right at speed when cars are also turning right. Just yeah, okay. You're going to surprise the car. He's not going to expect somebody coming up on his right hand side and overtaking on the right. Why would you? Put yourself in the position of the driver. Bike comes around, scoots, turns the same way you are. You know, if you were a little bit quicker on your throttle, than if you were a little bit sharper turner, you just fucking have him. Yeah. We've got brake light out. I wonder if they know. Do you know you got a brake light out, mate? Brake light. Brake light on the right hand side. around there before he comes in. What was I saying? Yeah, fucking stupid bikers. What was I saying? On the Shiver, yeah, valve clearances seems to be a good solution. So I'm now at 2 minds whether or not, excuse me. Oh, yeah, there's lots of bugs floating around. Valve clearance seems to be a popular one. Now, I'm not quite sure whether or not I'll do the ECU swap to confirm that it's not mapping, to confirm that it's not the ECU first, and then go to valve clearances, or just go for valve clearances. I'm not sure. I've not done valve clearances for a long time, so I'm going to have to look stuff up, including what they should be, which might be difficult to find. I haven't stumbled across that yet, but I'll have a look, or if anybody knows, then please let me know. And the procedure wise I'll have to go through, but yeah, that's all cool. That's this weekend stuff. Other interaction, I've mentioned Gorilla Biker before, who is Irish chap with a really good channel. Actually, I found it really useful with Blue, because he's got a CBF 1000, and you may have heard me talk about him before, and he's done things like, you know, change the exhaust, redone the fork seals, and in fact it was him and his mate that was the last video I watched before doing the fork seals on this. He's a viewer, he's certainly a commenter, and he chucked a comment on, and it was really nice, actually. Kind of, you forget, how do I put this? It's not particularly if you're a creator. You forget that, you know, you watch TV, whether you do that terrestrial TV, whether you do that streaming, whether you do Netflix, whatever, but you know, it's abstract to you, it's nothing to do with you. You can comment on it, you can leave reviews. Christ, everyone leaves reviews for fucking everything nowadays, but it doesn't talk back. And it's always, I mean, I try and reply to comments, and the majority of channels that I subscribe to and watch, you know, semi-religiously, do exactly the same. You don't always get a reply, because particularly the bigger sites, they just get swamped, and that's fine. But then you know, to get a comment on my little channel from a guy that I've been quoting and watching, it's actually quite nice. The really weird bit was the fact that when I was reading his comments, I was reading them in my head in an Irish accent. But yeah, always a little bit strange. What else was I going to prattle on about? I had something in my head, but it's gone. It's always a weird roundabout, that one. Yeah, well, that's what I was going to talk about. I can feel the difference in the forks. Now, I don't obviously say obviously. By book, it is 10 weight. Fork oil, 437 millilitres, I think, off the top of my head. I didn't mention on yesterday's update that oh yeah, that is a lot better. I did mention on yesterday's update that I also did the volume of oil by gap this time, so with the spring out, with the fork nestled, i.e. down, rather than its full extension, and do the air gap at the top, which I think was 129 mil. Don't go by that if you're doing your forks. That's off the top of my head. I think that's what it was, but I could be wrong. Whatever it was, I did it right yesterday anyway. So yeah, I just tried a different method, and 6 and 2 3s. Actually, I don't think it's any more accurate than measuring, but you need a decent measurer, and a decent measurer isn't a tub from your kitchen with millilitres drafted on the outside. I mean, I did it through a syringe when I did it by volume. So anyway, so yeah, it's 10 weight by book. Suggestion from Dan was, you know, firm up a little bit because you use, or you might want to, because Dan never tells you, he suggests, which is lovely. You know, you might want to firm them up a little bit for what you're using the bike for. I thought, well, okay. the first heavier that I saw was sort of 20 and 25, and I thought I don't, it's quite a bold correction to make, so I went for 15, kind of split the difference, went up 1. I think I can feel it. I think it feels firmer, but I may be talking complete bollocks, and actually it's just psychosomatic. You know, I'm expecting to feel a difference, so I am feeling a difference. Don't know, but yeah, feels nice and firm. Now, bearing in mind that prior to that, the oil was really old. You know, you saw me hoik it out. It was pretty nasty shit, and the other stuff that I put in wasn't sealing properly. My suspension was quite, I don't want to say loose. It wasn't very firm anyway, let's put it that way. Whereas this is considerably better. Just makes the bike feel a little bit more lively. Yeah. And I do know that Gorilla Biker upgraded his front forks to try and get them a little bit, I know, better with a full kit, which, you know, I don't think I'm going to do. Frankly, I don't ride hard enough, long enough, far enough to need to feel that difference. This feels absolutely fine. Right, that'll do me. A really quick update just as I test these new forks out. That'll do me. Cheers all. Catch you later. Christ, that car's right up their arse. Right, welcome back. It's not very often I do a talky spiel on the way home. I'm normally pretty talked out, and frankly I am today as well. However, one thing worthy of note / update, and this weekend we'll see how it goes really. But you know how I was saying that I didn't want to get another bike yet because I wanted to keep it running as 2, and I certainly wasn't in the market for another bike. Well, I'm still not in the market for another bike because I might have found 2. I know it's fucking stupid and I shouldn't do it, but I do miss having options of which bike to work on, particularly when I'm finding the Aprilia is stumping me quite so much, although I do think I have a way forward with it. So I may have 2 bikes joining the stables, which is going to be a squeeze. It's going to be a proper squeeze. I might have to stash one of them elsewhere while I'm working, but we will have to see how that goes. Come on, people. I think some people have got really unhappy home lives because they're obviously not as keen to get home as I am. Yeah. So next update, it's probably going to be on the Aprilia. It's probably going to be arsing around. It might be looking at valves before I start messing around with the ECUs. I do need to spend this evening looking up valves on the Aprilia and work out what the fuck I need to do, and then you can join me on the happy journey where I mess around with valves on an Aprilia, which I've not done before. Same as everything else, I've not done it before, but we shall see when and if I do get these 2 bikes, or I may just get one, or I might get both. I might be back into slightly more familiar territory, but we shall see. Right, cheers all, catch you later on. Ta-da.